I was driving home from work with my mom, and she mentioned she hadn't heard from my father all day. That's unlike him, she said. I brushed it off at first, but I still had this feeling that something was wrong. I pictured that we would pull into the driveway and see the door on his truck open, the keys inside, and him nowhere to be found. Then we'd know something went wrong. Or I imagined that I'd go to take my dog around the house before bed, like I always do, and as I used the flashlight in the dark, I'd stumble upon his body in the grass. He's working the night shift, so should have been asleep by the time we got home anyway. If he was out there in the grass, or if he was in his bed sleeping, we wouldn't know until midnight when he was supposed to get up. I was realizing that this worry and overthinking has been a staple of my life for as long as I can remember. I'm not sure where it started, but it comes on a lot. An Alan Watts quote that I like to recite to myself is, "No amount of anxiety makes any difference to anything that is going to happen." I feel this is important to keep in mind when we're plagued with anxiety, when we're worrying about something outside of our control. When I wake up in the middle of the night to the phone ringing, I immediately think this can only be bad news. But I tell myself, number one, I don't know what the call is about, so don't make any assumptions. And number two, whatever this call is about, worrying about it won't make any difference. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason, which today arm you against the present. All of this is easier said than done, I know, but it's a practice. The more we remember to keep this in mind, the faster the anxiety can pass. Epictetus said, "When I see someone in a state of anxiety, I say, what is it that this person wants? For unless they wanted something that was not within their power, they rightly couldn't be anxious." And so the Stoics would tell you to remember that there are good things like virtue, bad things like vice, and indifferent things like those outside of your control. And that we shouldn't have any anxiety about something that's not in our control. If I come home and my father is alive, or if I come home and he's dead, both of these things are just indifference, according to the Stoics. Now I struggle with this aspect of Stoicism, and yet this is what it says. For me personally, I know that I would feel a certain way if my non-preferred indifferent came about. But also thanks to Stoicism, I'd probably be able to bounce back quicker. However, reminding ourselves that worrying will not make any difference to anything that's going to happen is a good practice to stop worrying in the moment and let go.